Good afternoon, everyone. As we had already know, today we are having a unit test. So before we have the unit test, we'll do a quick revision of what we have learned in unit number 1, and then we can go for our unit test. Right. So unit number 1, the name of the unit is Dynamics of Communication. These are the topics that we have dealt and discussed in the dynamics of communication. So topic number 1 was, it was an introduction to what is communication, what we can talk about communication. And the definition, before the definition, we came to know that communication comes from a Latin word in origin. As you know, English is not a language which is a language on its own. It has borrowed and shared and become better. So every year also it includes new words. In the the origins we learned that is Latin, and then there was a word called communicare, which means to share. Then we had talked about the definitions of communication. Different dictionaries like Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary had a definition. Then we had the Newman Dictionary or a Newman definition of communication, right? Apart from that, we then went on to learn about the process of communication. So it starts with the sender, ends with the receiver, and without the feedback, communication process remains incomplete. So it's the sender who encodes the message, sends the message through a proper channel. The receiver receives the message, decodes the message, gives a feedback, and then the process is complete. We came to know that the position of the sender and receiver the positions of the sender as well as the receiver keep on exchanging. Once somebody is a sender, would also become a receiver at some point of time. Then why is communication important? Communication is important because it is the food and fuel of any organization. You can manage and administer an organization better if you communicate better. Communication is also one of the aspects, important aspects for the success of an individual as well as the success of any organization, right? Moving up to the success part. The next technical term that we understood was kinesics. Simply, we can call it non-verbal communication or body language. It includes different aspects of our body when we don't speak verbally or when we don't write, how our body reacts. Some of the information or some of the movements that the body makes is involuntary. That is, you do not have any control over it. It happens automatically. Let's say, let's take an example. When you are feeling sleepy, you are yawning, right? That yawning is something which happens involuntarily. You do not have a control over it, right? There are certain things where we can have a control. So what are those things? So we can start with things such as, let's say, in kinesics, you begin with the head movements, the how you move your head. So up and down for a yes, side to side for a no. Then the facial expressions, the expressions that you have on your face, the eye contact, that is very important. When you are presenting, you need to maintain a very good eye contact with the listeners so that your presentation goes well. Then after eye contact, we had something called gestures. Gestures means movement of your upper body, that is your hands and your fingers, your arms, right? You point somebody, you have a V sign for victory, you have a thumbs up sign for best of luck. That's all gestures. Then you have postures. Postures means proper sitting, proper standing, and proper walking. So how do you sit confidently is reflected by the way you sit or you stand or you walk, right? So kinesics includes the head movements, facial expressions, eye contact, gestures, and postures. These are the 5 elements for kinesics. Then we move on to proxemics. Proxemics means space language. So how much distance do you keep between yourself and the other person in terms of space? Now, 2 important names that we need to remember is Edward T. Hall, that is the name of the author, and The Hidden Dimension, that is the name of the book. So in The Hidden Dimension, Edward T. Hall has divided space into 4 different zones or 4 different partitions. So this partitions, remember I gave you a small trick to remember it. So you can turn it into an acronym by IPSP, intimate space, personal space or personal zone, social space, and public space. Do not forget the measurements. Intimate space would have personal touch or contact to 18 inches. Remember, it is 18 inches. Then personal space would range from 18 inches to 4 feet, inches to feet. Social zone, 4 feet to 12 feet. Here, please don't make a mistake. It's not inches, it is feet. And public zone, 12 feet to approximately 25 feet, or till you can hear and you can look at people. So these are the 4 zones of proxemics as given by Edward T. Hall in his book, which is called The Hidden Dimension. Next, we had paralinguistic features. Paralinguistic features, para means like, linguistic means language. It is similar to language, but it is not language. So paralinguistic features are actually qualities of your voice, different things that you can do with your voice to improvise your speaking activity, to become a good speaker or good communicator. So first, in paralinguistic features, you have the quality of your voice. Your voice quality is your trademark. You cannot change it 100%, but you can train it to become better. Next is the volume. Volume means with the whether you're speaking very loudly or you are speaking very softly. Now, volume actually depends upon you speaking it in terms of the environment or in terms of where you are speaking, the venue, right? If it is a larger room, you speak loudly. If it's a smaller room, you speak a little softly as compared. Then we can talk about the rate of speaking or the pace, P-A-C-E, pace of speaking, which means the speed with which you speak. You should neither speak too fast nor very slow, because it will turn things monotonous. So you cannot do like that. So you have to have an appropriate speech speed. Then we had pitch and stress, word stress, where you emphasize on which word do you want the audience to remember, that you put a little stress on. And lastly, we had pause. Pause means the small seconds of silence that you have when you are speaking. Appropriate pauses are important. They give a nice flair to your speech. When I say pause, why pause? The only reason we want to pause at a particular period of time, so that the audience can absorb what we are speaking, because our human mind is like a sponge. It takes a few seconds to absorb the information. So this is all what you can have in paralinguistic features. The next portion was interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication means skills that you need to develop when you are working in an organization, one of the skills is communication skills. By communication, I don't mean only speaking. There are 4 communication skills, that is reading, LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So all the 4 skills. Then in terms of manners and etiquettes and courtesy that we need to develop, that's saying please for asking for stuff, and saying thank you when you are being helped. Wishing people with proper greetings is also a part of it. Next, we talked about flexibility and adaptability. As I said, adaptability is not a new thing to human beings. You have to adapt to it, and we have been adapting. So how do you adapt to your new environment in your workplace? Next, we have ethics, very important. You have to work on certain rules and principles, and it should be there as a part of your organization and also a part in the team where you are working. You also need to work in collaboration and with corporation, because a single person cannot have all the skills. It's a teamwork or a team effort to get things done. And if a person works alone, he or she will be overburdened and would not finish the work in the given time frame. So what if I give my best project, but it takes 10 years to complete one project? That's not worth it, right? So we need a collaboration, a team of skilled people to deliver properly within the proper time frame. Next is intercultural communication. As I said, we are now not limited to one street, one city, one location. We are now globalized. We have to work with different kinds of people. We need to try and adapt to their cultures. They would also try and adapt to our cultures, because collaborating is making things far better, right? So this was a little quick revision of what we have done and what unit 1 is all about. As you know, we have a unit test. So the rules and regulations of a unit test are quite different than our regular tests that we have taken, right? So the regular test that we have taken were of please do not unmute yourself. Important instructions are being given to you. So the smaller tests that we took were of 5 MCQs, 5 minutes and 5 MCQs, and we were done. This is a unit test. This is a unit test, so it will have more number of questions. So there would be 25 questions, each question carrying 1 mark. Now, in terms of our other questions, we had questions that were either they were statements which we have to write true or false. Here you might have to choose from the given options. So it's a 25 mark thing. Do not be in a hurry to complete it. Read the questions carefully before you attempt it. Now I'm sharing the link of our Google form. You have 25 minutes, approximately 25 to 30 minutes to complete this test. So you can start attempting your test now. After the test is taken, we'll be also discussing questions where you had queries. So good luck to everybody. You are now given the link for the Google quiz, Google test, and you can start attempting your test now. I hope you are able to access the test. In case of any difficulty, technical difficulty you face, you please let me know. Very good. I can see 3 people have already completed their test. Very good. I can see 16 of you have already given the test. We'll wait 10 more minutes for the rest of the class to complete the test, and then we can discuss the test questions. So 18 of you have completed the test. Only 2 more people remaining. We still have 5 to 7 more minutes for them. We can spare that time. Okay. Fine. I see everybody has completed the test. Now we'll discuss the questions. So question number 1 was you have to either state it as a true or false. It was a statement. Both encoding and decoding of the message are influenced by our emotions. And the correct answer is true. I hope we were able to understand this question and there was no problem with this one. It is very clear. One person could answer a yes or no so that I understand that we can move to the next question. This question, I suppose nobody had a doubt. Okay. So question number 2 was communication should serve as a conflict reduction exercise. And the answer is true. Right. So here also, I suppose there is no space for doubt in this question. You should reduce the conflict, not increase the conflict. By conflict here we mean confusion. So communication is done for clarity. Question number 3 was dash means to impart an understanding of the message. So what was the correct answer here? Decoding. uh, Shamshad Alam, enrollment number 18, he has answered it right away. That was very nice. Decoding means, we remember in the part where we said encoding means that the sender arranges the idea logically, whereas when the receiver receives the question, decoding means he or she is trying to understand the idea properly. So that is why the answer is decoding. The next question is, when is the process of communication complete? So from all the messages that or the options that were given, is the answer is when the receiver understands the message. This is also very clear. Clarity is there. There is no doubt in this question, right? Yeah. The next question we have is, dash is the first enemy of communication. And that was also a very simple one. And the answer is noise, option A. Why? Because in terms of communication, noise means anything that disturbs or distracts. Anything that disturbs or distracts the process of communication is termed as noise. So that's why the answer is noise. What must be avoided for effective communication? So the word that, the technical word that we have used is ambiguity. Ambiguity means things that are unclear, things that have a certain amount of confusion in it, right? So that's what it is. Answer is ambiguity, C. Around which of these is a culture not centered for a modern man? Right. So for a modern man, culture does not mean that a place of worship does not mean culture. Right. So the answer there would be temple. Very good. Any group must advance their strength through dash. Now see here, the options are quite confusing because we have been talking about communication and all. Here this question comes from interpersonal communication. So you should be united, you should be collaborated, you should cooperate. So that is why the answer is unity. The next question is, an organization must, yes.
Ma'am, in that question, won't group discussion be the correct option?
See, out of the options given, by debating also you can strengthen, by giving
Yes.
good speeches you can strengthen, by group discussion also you can strengthen. But this question you are supposed to keep in mind with the reference that we have learned in unit 1. Have we talked about group discussion?
No, ma'am.
What did we talk about? We talked about interpersonal skills. And one of the interpersonal skills that we talked was collaboration, being in unity, cooperation, cooperating with each other, where we said that one person, if work is given to only one person, then he or she will be overburdened, right? That is why here the answer is unity. This is unit test 1 from unit number 1. That's why.
Otherwise, all the three options were correct, right?
Otherwise, see, you
If
can,
it was not a
yeah,
part of unit 1, then
yes, if we had it as a part of unit 3 or 4, where we have group discussions and debates and all going, then group discussion would be the correct answer in that case, because by debating you don't come to a conclusion. By group discussion you come to a solution. Had it been unit number 3, then. Now, right now, because we are talking with reference to interpersonal skills, there one of the skills that we mentioned was being collaborative, being cooperative. That's why the answer is unity.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Anybody has a doubt in this question apart from what was been solved? Okay. An organization must give dash to an individual. Here again, please keep in mind the topics that we have dealt with. So that's why the answer is freedom. The freedom to think. If you remember, we had a word called brainstorming. Everywhere you could have heard the word brainstorming, where you find ideas. The freedom to collaborate, the freedom to work, the freedom to find solutions. That's why the answer is freedom. A dash, speaker looks into the eyes of the audience. As I said, eye contact in terms of the technical term kinesics, where the speaker looks into the eyes of the audience when the speaker is confident, right? A pointed finger may be a gesture of accusation. So you point, okay, he is the culprit. You point a finger. So this is very simple. The answer is true. The tone of the speaker should be loud, clear, low, or soft. Now see, loud, being soft, and being low is termed as the volume and not the tone. And that is why the answer is clear over here. Okay, which of these does not enhance your listening skills? It's a very clear idea. If you ignore something, you cannot become good listeners. And that's why the answer here is ignoring. When a person receives a message, it is his responsibility to provide the sender. If you remember, in the process of communication, we have marked that feedback is very important. How will the how will the sender know whether the receiver has got it or not? It is through feedback. That's the reaction of the listener or the receiver. Now, what is another term for communicating without words? So yes, the answer is all of the above, because it is also called body language. It is also called non-verbal communication, and it also includes gestures, right? We just revised it. Dash is,
Ma'am,
yep.
But ma'am,
you want a gesture and body language be part of non-verbal communication?
Yes,
yes ma'am,
So if we have just
they are
selected
part of it.
option B, non-verbal communication, then won't that be also a correct option?
see all,
Because
Yes ma'am.
yep.
because language, body language, and gestures are part or a sub part of non-verbal communication.
That is what it is asking. It's asking communication without words. So non-verbal means communication without words. Gestures also means communication without words, and body language is also communication without words. That's why it should be all of the above. It's not one, right? Why one of the
Ma'am,
answers?
ma'am, but non-verbal means everything is included in that also. So that can also be correct answer.
No, that cannot only be the only correct answer in this case. Now, when there's an option given to select all of the above, if you see the other three options, they are also a part of non-verbal communication or communicating without words, right? So you are absolutely correct when you say that body language and gestures are a part of non-verbal communication, and that is why option D is correct, because we have already given that it's all of the above, all the three. Fine. So selecting
Okay,
any
ma'am.
one would not be correct in this case. Why? Because it means that the other two are wrong. When you have A, B, C, D as an option, multiple choice, so when you select one option, it means the rest of are incorrect. But that's not correct. Rest of the two options are also a part of communicating without words, and that is why there is a fourth option which says all of the above. Right. So it would be option D would be correct here in this case. I hope I've been able to explain it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is dash is actively paying attention. That is the answer here is listening. Now see, listening and hearing for us, if we take from the Gujarati word sambharvu, right? So we translate roughly as listening or hearing. Now I'll give you a very simple example for the difference between the two. Hearing means right now, if you are sitting in your bedroom, there would be a fan which is going on. There's a sound that the fan makes, the swishing of the air. You are hearing the sound, Right now, I'm discussing the questions with you and listening to me. Right? Like listening is actually an activity which happens very actively. You are very conscious about it. You know, you're paying a lot of attention. That's why the answer is listening over here. The word communication is derived from the original word. Remember, in the very first lecture, I would have told you about both the questions. Word is derived from communicare, and communicare is a Latin word which means to share. I might have also asked you to note down in a book that we have to make for the subject all these important details. So for the word communication is derived from, the answer is A, and the word communication is derived from the dash language, so that's Latin language. Again, the answer is A. Personal appearance is an element of non-verbal communication. That's absolutely correct. The statement is true. Personal appearance includes how you dress, how you comb your hair, etc. So it's a part of non-verbal. You are not supposed to speak that, see, today I'm wearing matching clothes. We can see without somebody speaking. Now we have asked about the range of intimate zone. So you can see the answer is 0 to 1.5 feet or 18 inches approximately. Dash is reserved for more than just a casual friend. Here the answer is personal zone. Pause has a great significance in oral communication. That's true. As I said, when you pause, you give the audience time to absorb the information. Paralanguage of the person does not indicate his place in the hierarchical structure of the organization. This statement is false. The paralanguage would always indicate the person's place in the hierarchy. Now, hierarchy, what do I mean? Hierarchy means, let's take an example of educational field because it's easier for us to understand. That's why. So in the hierarchy means the order in which, right? So if we take the teaching fraternity, it's your professor, and above the professor, you will have the head of the department. Above the head of the department, you have the dean. Above the dean, you have the campus director or the provost. Like that. That's the hierarchy, right? So the way the dean sir speaks is very different from the way your class subject teacher speaks. That's why this paralanguage part will affect a lot or shows the position of a person in the hierarchy. Paralanguage is like language but not language. That's true. Para means like, language means similar to language. And the last one is a posture determines a person's confidence, nervousness, status, interest or lack of interest in a conversation. That's absolutely correct. Posture, the way you sit, stand or walk is known as your posture, right? And your posture would always show whether you are confident or not, whether you are feeling bored, whether you are tired, etc. So I hope I've been able to explain the quiz properly, and with this quiz happening, we have been able to understand how we'll be working with this subject, right? I hope now we do not have any doubts regarding how we'll work with the subject. Fine. There's a small instruction. I've already taken your attendance. I'll just call out there's only one person absent. I'll just tell his or her number. That is enrollment number 19 series, enrollment number 19, Mohammed Arif. This is the only person who is absent for today's session. Fine. So that makes it that everybody is present. Now by Saturday, this Saturday, you will receive an email from my side on your institute email where I'll share a Google folder. In the Google folder, from next week, we are starting unit number 2. As I said, we need your interactions. So how do you interact? You interact with me through your opening remarks and closing remarks. So I'll be writing the unit number, the topic for your opening remark and closing remark. Everybody's chance will come. It is on rotation basis. Fine. So there will be a document that I will be sharing and you can access the document and see when is your turn. Before your turn, you need to ask me, madam, what are you going to teach? So you don't have to summarize the whole uh, topic, but you can say that we'll be discussing this many points in today's lecture. And the person who gives the closing remark need not talk to me, because he or she will be present in the lecture, and he and she can summarize from there, right? So this is what I had to say. Please check your Gmail on Saturday after 12 noon. You'll receive a message from me which has a document which is shared, and you can access that document. Within the document, you will see who is giving the opening remark for unit 2 topic 1, unit 2 topic 2. That way I'll be dealing there. Do not worry, I'll also write the heading of the topic. So say for example, if the topic is definition of communication, so unit 1 topic 1, definition of communication, Dharmesh is giving the opening remarks, Divyaraj is giving the closing remarks. That will be written there. Fine. I hope I'm clear. I think that's a yes and no question that I'm asking. I hope I am clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right. So thank you, class. So you have to access it after this Saturday after 12 noon. Fine. Thank you, class. Have a nice day.